Hi there. There's talk in the US a lot about revolution and doing revolutionary stuff, and Ron Paul, for instance, says that we should take out the CIA because the CIA in the end is running everything. And of course, there's some likelihood that there will be actual, let's say, a revolution with people in the street and guns, but I think it's only small. You might see a division in the society between the religious people that think they're fighting the Muslim terrorists or the Muslim church in general, and the people that are not that much religious or that simply don't want to be implicated or be part of that fight, because it's a dangerous type of, let's say, polarization. And at the moment you hear a lot of words and expressions to polarize people in the population. So you say that might become a riot within the US, people protesting that. And there might be, let's say, a riot against people in politics. But there's no reason whatsoever, I think, for US citizens to start shooting each other. Even though one is Republican, the other is a Democrat, I don't think they will see any sense in doing it. And they don't have anything to protect, and they don't have anywhere to hide, and they don't have, let's say, the resources for it to sustain it. What might happen is that states secede, and in a very remote scenario, I think, let's say California says, well, it's too hard to keep in the dollar, we're gonna create our own currency, because then we can manage our own resources and our own stuff. And of course California is not a worthless state, so it can generate lots of water once they adopt this salt works technology desalination plant, and then there's no problem with the water supply in California. So that will be a prosperous state, but the rest of the US, not so much. Maybe that's what they think. So then they say, okay, we still see we have our own currency. What will happen? Well, maybe the federal government will. What can they do? They cannot try to conquer California. It's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. So that means the US simply splits up. But one type of thing that I think is starting to irritate people seriously is the media, mass communication. And with the new high Supreme Court ruling that corporations or anybody is basically free to put any message on the commercial television stations, the floodgates are opened for all kinds of types of misinformation, lies and defamation to occur in the US, because the US apparently doesn't have very strict libel laws. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to create advertisements that are really kind of project an enormously negative image about somebody. So that will happen, and people will get sick of it. And the only recourse that they have, if they get sick, because all the normal opinions will be drowned out, because everything is for sale. All the time will be for sale in the media. Dus all the time will be bought. And it will be bought around the most popular slots, so any media personality that draws viewers will then become a conduit for the misinformation provided to the public, in order to keep them, let's say, sedated or distracted, or spending money while they shouldn't, or be voting for the wrong persons, and etc. etc. Simply is that like that. US politics is now officially corrupt. It's a law. It's been written into law, or it's a decision by the Supreme Court that the U.S. politics is to be corrupt. And the only recourse you have is to kind of stop or block the media, and that's, I think, actually pretty easy to do. And it's also very effective. What would happen if there was no television for a week in the U.S.? People would have to watch their own lives and would have to watch their own situation, not some beautiful other place somewhere that they might aspire to and then gamble all their money or spend it on, and I don't know what. All this distraction is really keeping people from doing what they need to do. And it's not like there's some or it's not like an evil plot that's going on. It's simply that if people are staring at the TV screen and the thing that they wanted to see ends, you can put something there that you want them to see and want to like, and they'll put the same emotion to that. Give it the same value, and it will stick in their mind, and they will buy it, and you will have influenced their behavior. You will basically program people with television to do all kinds of stuff, and so it just works very well. It's just it's a very weird instrument to be able to show moving images with sound, and now with 3D. It's just that just messes up the minds of people, and to have that, well, of course, that type of media will be immediately populated by all kinds of people that have the money to pay for the technology, and then they'll start telling you to do what they want you to do. It's not evil, it's simple pure opportunism in the use of the technology, but it's messing up society. I think it is steering the US in the wrong direction. It's a fundamental problem that you can lie, I think, in the media, that you can tell untruth without being investigated, suspended, or whatever. In a democratic fashion, I don't say that there should be some kind of ministry of truth, because that's impossible. But if somebody says, there's 200,000 Haitians died last week, and it's 250,000, then that's wrong and it's not correct, and that person should be corrected on it. We used to have all kinds of, I guess you still have, corrections in the newspaper. Errata. Sorry, we reported that the economy grew 1.5% and it is minus 3%. You never see that in the media, or sometimes you see it in some when it's about the personalities of the presenters. But that's of course not important at all, the personalities of the presenters, or it's how good the information is that you're being provided. So to stop that, people need to, I can imagine people really assaulting the infrastructure of television, and as an extension of that, people assaulting the infrastructure of internet, because internet is becoming more dominant, and internet is even more dangerous, because with internet, if I watch a video on YouTube, people can use my history to show advertisements and other videos related to that I find interesting because I've watched that kind of stuff, and that basically means that I'm already used to it, and I might click on it, and my internet experience and my audio-visual experience, whatever I take in through the video, will become untruthful. It will become not my interest. It will become an extension of somebody else trying to utilize my interest in order to present whatever they want to present to me, and influence my behavior so that I start to think differently about those things. It's a creepy thing, and that's why net neutrality is very important. Because if that starts to work, if you start to get all kinds of variations in the service based on the interest and that kind of stuff, then the internet becomes one of the mechanisms of indoctrination that you don't want to have. So that's my revolution. The revolution will be a general assault or revolt against media figureheads and the media infrastructure. I don't know if it's right, but I hope it was interesting to listen to.